Hello? Hello? Hello. I am currently packing for a month away from my house. I'll be in LA for a week, Scotland for a week, Ireland for a week, and then LA for another week. I leave tomorrow. I always accidentally wind up packing last minute, but I have all my clothes done already, so all I have left is miscellaneous shit. Toiletries, camera gear, books, etc. And my goal for this trip was to read one book set in Scotland while I'm in Scotland and one book set in Ireland while I'm in Ireland. For Ireland, I'm bringing Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. And for Scotland, I was going to bring this dystopian sci-fi book called Glyph by Ali Smith. Ali Smith is Scottish, so I assumed the book was set in Scotland, but it turns out it's set in England. So then I bought The Har by David Sodergren. David Sodergren is another Scottish author, but it turns out this is also set in England. So I give up. I give up on a Scottish book for the minute. I'll still be reading an Irish book in Ireland, but in Scotland I'll be reading my most anticipated book of the year, The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. It's about the Beast of Gévaudan. I love the Beast of Gévaudan and all the stories that have come along with it, so obviously I cannot resist this. I'm also going to be bringing a book called The Fisherman by John Langan for a secret reason. Oh, wait, no, hold on. By now it's not a secret anymore. For you, it already happened. A few weeks ago, Kayla from Books and Lala invited me to come on her Literally Dead book club live show with Gavin from Gavin Reads It All and Jordaline from Jordaline Reads. Obviously I said yes because those are three of like my favorite people on this website, but also I'm terrified. I've never been live on the internet before, so what if I say something really stupid? I will get my life back no matter what, even if it takes fucking and sucking to do it. Or what if my brain goes blank and I forget the entire book and everything I was going to say about it?
McKenna, did you really write 85 pages of notes?
Or what if, like, I breathe too loudly and everyone thinks I'm gross? If I think about it too much right now, I'm going to lose my mind. But apparently The Fisherman is about two widowed men who decide to go fishing together, and I think they meet some kind of eldritch horror when they're fishing. It sounds promising. It also sounds a little bit Brokeback Mountain, so you know, here's hoping. So now here's the thing. I am bringing 3 books on a 2-week trip abroad. I do this every single time I go on a trip. My theoretical eyes are bigger than my theoretical stomach. I bring way too many books on a trip and then I read like 15 total pages. Because if there's anything I take extremely seriously, it's travel. And I'm never going to be the person to sacrifice any facet of a trip to work or to read or to send emails. So I'm giving you a fair warning. You might not see a lot of actual reading during the travel part of this video, but whatever I don't read while I'm abroad, I'll make up for it when I get home. I mean, to be fair, actually, you might not hear me talking a lot during the travel part of this video. I'll be in Scotland with one of my best friends, in Ireland with another one of my best friends, and I haven't asked either of them yet if they actually want to show their faces on the internet. So if there's mostly like be-real and scenery for the first half of this video, just sit back and take pleasure in the beautiful countrysides. But if you don't care at all about me traveling, which I know that some of you don't, considering that my Belize video is the lowest watched video on my channel, which is fine. This is not a travel channel. You don't need to watch everything that I put up anywhere. You don't need to watch anything that I put up anywhere, actually. But if you're one of those people who really doesn't care about the travel, I will put timestamps down below to let you know where the actual like book-related chunks of vlog are. Okay, I think that that's all I had to tell you. I'm gonna finish packing and try to get some sleep and get on the road tomorrow to start my first 18-hour drive down to LA.
Up and about, now's your time to do it. Current weather in Newark, winds out of the southwest, clear skies, beautiful 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks for flying United. Hope to see you again on another United flight real soon. 250 miles to go on the ground, safely 37 minutes past the hour. Going in at gate C as in Charlie 81 today.
Was it recording this whole time?
Yeah, it's been recording this whole time.
Please don't put this on the internet.
That's
my mom might
the
see
spirit.
It.
Yeah, the sirens here are weird. We're in Edinburgh now. I haven't actually said anything to camera at all. I think this is just gonna be like Be Real. Music over it. Oh, that's not good. A whole lot of nothing. What is this?
I think it's like someone reading the book on YouTube.
Hey.
You can start doing that.
I would get copyrighted instantly and my channel would be banned. Kyra's trying to get my channel taken down actually. She does not support me.
I just want more of her time.
You want me to move to beep?
You love it too much in beep.
Don't say that name to me. You bleeped out. Don't say that name to me. Hi friends, I haven't actually spoken to you. I cut out a lot of pauses, by the way. I have to stop mid-sentence to think. I haven't actually been speaking to you during the whole time I've been traveling because I've also never spoken to camera with another person. Eric has never been in the room while I've done this. This is absolutely bizarre for me.
It feels weird for me too.
I have been traveling, not anymore. I was me.
Do you want me to like leave the frame for a second?
No, shut up. Yeah, okay, very good. So I have been traveling for about 24 hours.
That's not gonna go well with sound.
But it'll go well with viewership. I have not spoken to camera the whole time I've been traveling. I traveled for 24 straight hours. I still have not really gone to sleep. I took like a power nap, but I'm delirious, which is gonna make this more fun. I am here with my best friend, Kyra.
Oh, hello.
Kyra moved to a different country about 1.5 years ago, and I haven't seen her since then, and she has been my best friend for 8 years as of this week. It's our anniversary this week, which is why we are in Scotland together. And today, I got in at 11:30. I was able to meet her here at the hotel by 12:30. By 12:35, we were out the door going to our first bookstore. So we have a little book haul for you today.
Little,
well, mine's little. I'll go first, but only because she has like 4 times as many books as I do. First of all, I got Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector. If you have been on this channel for long enough, you'll know that I've been putting off Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector for knows how long, I don't know, a year or so, because I know that it's gonna change my life. And so I bought another book that I know will change my life that I'm also gonna look at fearfully as it sits on my shelf. The second and last book that I got, The Bloody Branch by Bridget Lowe. This is a book that I featured in a new releases video a few months ago, and then I found out afterwards it's not being, sorry, I'm blocking your face.
No, I think that's for the better.
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't know what to do with my face and I would prefer it.
I found out that it's not being sold in the US for some reason, but now I am in the UK, and so I was able to pick up The Bloody Branch, and that's it. I've only bought 2 things because I've only been here for about, 45 minutes.
But your bookmark.
Oh my god, that's right. I also got a bookmark with dinosaurs all over it. So this is all thanks to Blackwell's? Thanks to Blackwell's. So I bought 2 books. Kyra, on the other hand.
To be fair, I have been here longer, and also I have a problem.
Yeah.
I cannot walk into a bookstore without buying anything that has a vibe.
She's bought 7 books in the 2.5 days that she's been here.
So I got The Demon Lover by Shirley Jackson. It wasn't the Shirley Jackson book that I wanted to get, but it was the one that they had, and I said, something's better than nothing.
Amen.
I also got Graveyard Shift. I'm not gonna say what anything is about because
Google it.
you're not here for me. I got
No,
The
no.
Beholders. Fully based on vibes. Also, Hagstone. I've started reading this one. Solid so far. Women's Lore. Haunted, the ghost stories and folklore of the British Isles.
I want this.
Supernatural short stories, which is mostly set in the Highlands of Scotland.
Which is where we're going tomorrow, by the way. We drive a few hours north. We're staying in a castle.
Yeah. And then the last one is a book about physics. It's called White Holes by Carlo Rovelli. I've read his 7 brief lessons.
This was our nickname in
physics.
college. Just 2 white holes.
His books on physics are just like really beautiful, and I'm excited to read this one. And I also got 2 bookmarks, dinosaurs and a meerkat, for reasons that will stay hidden.
Yeah, secret meerkat reasons. Anyway, that's our book haul. Sorry it took 10.5 minutes.
Just speed through, do a like speed run of me as a chipmunk.
No, don't tell them to watch it on 2 times speed. No, watch.
You speed it up on your own of just me.
I will speed up certain things and I'll cut out all the ums and whatever. You watch this video on 1 time speed for my algorithm, please. Mwah! Bye. I just picked up my rental car, and it's been about 3 years since I have driven on the right side of the car on the left side of the road, and I'm terrified, brother. Our castle is haunted. Our castle is haunted by this giant floating penis.
It has a wide base, so it won't.
Anyway, we also have a fireplace, cute chairs. This is a very nice castle we're living in, and then we just have a ghost penis. We're stopped for construction, and this is the view. This place does not seem real. Like, what the f is that? I feel like I'm in Lord of the Rings. My little lemur. I feel like if there's anywhere where fairies live and exist, it's here.
High five. High five. That was rubbish. High five. High five. Yeah, good dog.
This is called the queering. So if you need to get a little gayer, this is where you come. Oh, hell, the queering. So we're in the Isle of Skye.
Is it in or on? What's the island terminology?
Probably on. Ignore the steering wheel. We're on the Isle of Skye. We are going from one place that's called the queering. We're going to the beach. But we're taking a pause because look at the fucking storm. Oh, it doesn't look quite as bad on this camera right now, but there's wind that's shaking the car. Why does it look so tame on the camera? I'm gonna look like an idiot while I'm talking about this. It is currently snowing and hailing at the same time. There's so much wind that it's shaking the car. So we're not fucking going anywhere right now. We're just sitting here waiting for it to back off a little. Everything is so beautiful here. Look at that. That's the queering. Look at one of the bedrooms in this Airbnb. I'm going crazy. It's a sunroom bedroom. Good Lord. Hi, excuse my face. I just woke up. I flew into Ireland last night, and I thought I would give you a little update while I'm doing my makeup because I did not talk to camera at all in Scotland. Now I'm in Ireland. I'm in a place where I have a separate bedroom, so I have more room to actually like speak to you guys. Also, I'm gonna show you where I am. This is my Airbnb. This is the backyard. I'm in Doolin right now. It is so sunny and bright compared to Scotland. Holy shit. I just went through 8 days of like torrential downpours and hail and snow. And now it's so weird to be in the sun. This is the backyard at the Airbnb and a bunch of donkeys live in here. I actually stayed in this same Airbnb 3 years ago and the donkeys come up to this fence line at dusk. So at dusk, we're gonna see some donkeys. Actually, I think I see one really far out there. So while I do my makeup, I'm gonna talk to you about The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. I have barely been reading on this trip so far, which is what I anticipated would happen. Never in a million years was I going to read 3 books while I'm on a trip to 2 foreign countries, but I was being optimistic. And maybe I'll be able to read more on the flight back. I read nothing on the flight here either. But since I got here about 8 or 9 days ago, I have read 107 pages in The Red Winter, and I am obsessed with it. I love the writing immediately, I love the characters immediately, I'm having such a good f***ing time, which kind of sucks for me because now that I'm in Ireland, I need to switch over to Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. The whole point was for me to read the book set in Ireland while I'm in Ireland. And then I also need to fit The Fisherman into the next week or so that I can be informed and not lying when I'm on camera with Kayla, Gavin, and Jordaline. Or, well, I mean, I guess I could read The Fisherman when I get home. I don't have to read that here. The only one I actually have to read here is Knock Knock Open Wide. So anyway, The Red Winter. The only thing that I went into this book knowing is that it's about the Beast of Gévaudan, which is my very special interest. It's my favorite folk tale, real life folk tale kind of a thing. If you've been here with me on this channel for more than like 4 minutes, you will already know that. There's a lot more to this than I originally knew. What can I tell you without it being a little bit spoilery? The first thing I will tell you, the writing is amazing. This is a debut novel. I would never know that. The writing is beautiful and funny without being cheesy, but we essentially have this man named Sebastian. 20 years in the past, he went on some hunt and fought and won against the Beast of Gévaudan, which was terrorizing France. He also fell in love with a man named Antoine. He fell in love with a man named Antoine, who was also part of the hunt, the son of the king, the son of someone important. And now we're 20 years in the future. Antoine's son has come to find Sebastian, and he's saying, hey, you need to get the f back to my house and my lands because the Beast of Gévaudan is back, which we don't understand yet because apparently he was vanquished 20 years ago, but I guess a piece of him remained in some way. Sebastian also has what is called an indwelling demon named Sarmodal. And indwelling demon means that he basically has a demon that shares space in his brain. And so he shares his whole brain space with a demon. There's 2 of them living in there. And I am so used to books and movies where if someone is possessed, it's a bad thing. You have a demon in your head, it's a bad thing. You 2 are at odds, you want to kill each other, you hate each other. Sebastian and Sarmodal have this beautiful live-in roommate partner situation. They call each other my love, but not in a romantic sense, more in like we've been best friends for 7,000 years kind of a way. They're very sweet to each other, they care deeply about each other, and I'm enjoying that relationship so much. Oh, and by the way, Sebastian is, we don't know how many thousands of years old. I've been given little hints here and there. He worked with different civilizations in ancient times. He worked in Rome before the fall of Rome during the Empire. He says that his indwelling demon Sarmodal used to hang out in ancient Mesopotamia. These 2 are old as shit. And Sebastian is basically a monster hunter. It kind of reminds me of The Witcher. He can still be hurt and he can still be killed, but he's a little bit immortal and he goes around hunting monsters, I believe. We're still not privy to the entire backstory. There has not been any kind of like stupid exposition dump to explain everything to us at once, which is great. It's letting us as the audience be intelligent. It's letting us learn as we go along. I love a book that doesn't treat us like we're stupid. We also at the beginning learned that Sebastian has a woman who lives lives in his house with him named Livia. And Livia was making some weird comments at first, which I didn't understand until we find out that Livia is a succubus, and she's also thousands and thousands of years old. And she has a 10,000-year-old succubus sense of humor. She calls people meatbags because she sees humans as meatbags. I mean, she's a succubus. All she wants to do is seduce men, f*** them, and then eat them, like consume their corpse. That's, you know, that's all. She's just a girl. She doesn't go on the trip with us, unfortunately. When Sebastian leaves with Antoine's son for the weeks-long journey back to Gévaudan to go vanquish what's left of this monster, I guess, Livia stays behind, which makes me sad because I love her. There's also a little bit of a foreword, which tells us that Sebastian's actually telling this entire story from 2013. So now we're actually in more of the present, and he's going backwards in time to talk about this point in like 1765 and this point in like it's 1783, I think. There are also fun footnotes throughout the book. He'll mention something, and then there'll be like a little 1 or 2 next to it, and there's a footnote down at the bottom, and it'll give us like a quippy little explanation. So if someone mentions something about the end days, how they averted the end days, and the footnote will be like, we did save the world recently, but we don't like to talk about it. We averted the end days, but it's fine, we don't need to mention it here. So like I said, we're not getting any big exposition dumps. Cameron Sullivan is very good at giving proper backstory, proper exposition without it coming out in a dump kind of way. He will weave a tale. He will go on a journey with us so that we understand something else. He'll tell us, oh yeah, we averted the end days, in order for us to understand, oh, him and his indwelling demon Sarmodal are very powerful. But instead of coming out and being like, we're so powerful, I could take on 5 men and Sarmodal can kill 100 men. He goes on a story and says, we saved the world. We killed this beast. We helped vanquish this heathen god. And so through that, we understand, oh, you two are very powerful. And you've been alive for a very long time. We don't have to be told it point blank. We understand, oh, the demon was alive in ancient Mesopotamia? Okay, you're like thousands and thousands of years old. Oh, trigger warning. There are absolutely, definitely scenes of harm and death that come to animals. So if that is for some reason something that you absolutely can without a doubt not see on page at all. Oh, I dropped a cord. Right, if that's something that in any case is a full stop deal breaker for you, then this book is not for you, but I urge you to not let that be a full stop deal breaker because this book should be for everyone. This is so good. I am already getting 5-star feelings in my brain, in my heart, in my soul. I had assumed the Beast of Gévaudan book would be a 5 stars, but I'm just so glad that Cameron Sullivan is such a strong writer. My God. So where I'm at right now, Sebastian and the son are going on their little road trip through the mountains for a few weeks to get back to Gévaudan. Sebastian has started telling us about his backstory and about the 20 years ago timeline, how he meets Antoine, how they fall in love. We're not to the falling in love part yet. We're just getting into the start of the hunt. But in the present timeline, while they're going on this journey through the mountains, what can I say? Some shit goes down and we learn something new. Some shit goes down and suddenly we're in this landscape inside of Sebastian's head, in this inner world, meeting his inner child, which apparently is a place that he escapes to when his body has experienced too much trauma. And while we're in there, we meet some fascinating characters that are helping to explain even more. And the book is taking a left turn that I could never possibly have known was coming. Like I said, I thought that this book was just about 2 guys falling in love while hunting the Beast of Gévaudan. The stuff that's going on inside of Sebastian's head, I have so many questions. I need to know so much more. Thank God I'm only 100 pages in. And I don't want to switch to Knock Knock Open Wide. I mean, I know I'm still gonna love Knock Knock Open Wide. I know I am. But I just want to tear through this book, which is not possible when I'm on a trip.
It could be worth just stopping in.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll go to a bookstore no matter what.
This is where we are eating.
And that is the bookstore.
Okay, we're leaving. We're going to... Can you focus? Hello? I'm a person. Can you see me? Okay. We're going to lunch. We're going to the Cliffs of Moher. We're going antique shopping. Okay, bye. This is the craziest antique shop I've ever been in my entire life. There's a bird inside? There's birds over here too. I want to live in here, man. What? Dave.
My God. Hi. Oh yeah. Oh, it's
His dog has told us to follow him.
Hi. Where's your house? You're very sweet. Let's go to your house, okay? Let's go to your house. Come back. Come back. Where are you going? Come back. Hi. What are you doing? I'm trying to keep you out of the road. I'm trying to keep you out of the road, buddy. What are you doing? Is this your house? Is that your house? Oh, this guy was running in and out of traffic. I'm trying to make sure you don't get hit by a car, my guy. Okay, you want me to follow you?
Oh, what a beautiful stream.
Hi, okay. Let's get you home. Hi. Let's be done soon. I'm so cold. Which one's your house? Is that your house? Is this one your house? What the hell? Oh, what the hell?
Hi guys, I finally got home yesterday after 24 hours of flying, only 24 hours to rest, 18 more hours of driving, plus an overnight stay in a cabin for a friend's birthday, while I was still massively jet lagged. So if you can see the bags under my eyes, I need you to ignore those. I am still on, I don't even know in what time zone my body thinks it's on, but it's definitely not the one that I live in. And so if you are wondering, at the end of all that, the answer to how much can I read over 2 weeks in Scotland and Ireland, the answer is not much. I read 135 pages total while I was gone, which is pretty much what I expected. Like I said, I'm not going to put reading over exploring when I'm out of the country, especially when I've been so sick for like 2.5 years and I had to put traveling on the back burner. I put every single minute that I was there to good use. I figured that I would read some of Red Winter on the airplanes coming home, and then some the day after I landed while I was decompressing from jet lag, and then I'd finish it up here when I got home. Instead, I read absolutely nothing on the airplane coming home because for the longer one, I was too busy fending off a man who got really drunk and kept trying to show me photos of his penis. Which is a shame because before he started drinking, we had a nice conversation about books and he told me that I have to read House of Leaves. And then he started drinking and he was like, "F House of Leaves, I have to show her photos of my penis." So here's a clue, all you dudes out there, if you become a worse person when you start drinking, don't drink. Just don't do it. So I read nothing on the flight home, and then I accidentally read the entire last 400 pages the day after I got back. Like in one go. And I didn't film any of it. I was jet lagged, I was decompressing, I looked wrecked. So I wasn't filming anything. But once I picked it up, I could not put this fucking book down. And let me tell you right now, it is a heavy 5 stars. I would be shocked if this wasn't at least in the top 3 books of my year at the end of the year. And I'm so happy that I can say that, because how sad would it be if I didn't love the Beast of Gévaudan book after years of loving the Beast of Gévaudan himself. I think the last place I left off when I was talking in Ireland to you about this was when Sebastian and Jacques, who is Antoine's son, when they were on the road back to Gévaudan because the beast had returned. And Sebastian is telling Jacques the story of what actually happened 20 years prior. And I mean like the whole story, although I really hope that he kept out the parts about him railing Jacques' dad. And I am so conflicted because I know that one of my responsibilities on this channel is to tell you about this book, but I so badly want to tell you to just go read it yourself and to give you absolutely nothing. I am so deeply happy I knew nothing going into this, and I want that for you too. So I think that what I'm going to do is just step as hesitantly as possible while I talk about it and try to hype you up as much as possible to get you to read this book while also giving you very little. I don't remember if I already told you this, but we have 3 timelines going on at once, but they're surprisingly easy to keep track of because such wildly different things are happening in each one. Aside from 1766 and 1785, we are also in a timeline that goes through the 1400s, and it follows a historical figure that I won't name, but it's a name that you will recognize. Actually, it's mentioned in the synopsis, so I feel fine letting you know that it's Joan of Arc. Sebastian, Sarmodal, and Livia are hanging around having something to do with Joan of Arc. Oh, there's also technically the 2013 timeline. So technically there's 4 timelines, but that one only comes in the intro and the outro. So like it barely counts. What can I safely tell you? Okay, this is not a sentence that I've ever before said in my life, but this book has some really fun things to say about religion. Actually, I'm gonna redact that. That feels like I've said too much, but if you want to know what I just said, I'll put it after the bloopers. So if you want to go into this book knowing absolutely nothing, watch out for whatever I put at the very end of the bloopers at the very end of this video. It's not a spoiler, it's just like a fun fact within this world. What else? Oh, another fun fact. So Sebastian has this indwelling demon in his head, Sarmodal, like I told you before, but I found out that having Sarmodal in his head means that Sebastian not only is pretty much immortal, but also doesn't have to sleep, which is my dream. Whenever I come across any character in any book who doesn't have to sleep, I get so painfully jealous. I hate sleeping. I think it's so boring. I would pay exorbitant amounts of money if it meant that I didn't have to sleep ever again for the rest of my life. We did get more of Livia, the succubus who lives with Sebastian and Sarmodal, and I was thrilled because I do love her so much. All she wants to do is have sex with people and then kill them and then eat them. And I really loved reading about her slutty extracurriculars. What happens by the end of this book is something I'm not even going to get close to telling you, but I will say this is a fantasy book, but it definitely leans a little bit horror. Also, I really wish I'd been filming myself reading the 3rd to last chapter. My mouth was agape. I almost cried. I experienced every human emotion someone could possibly experience, all in like 6.5 pages. I think that at the core of it, this is a love story, but maybe not in the way that you would think. Or maybe in the way that you would think, but also in like 20 other ways. Also, to touch on the animal harm and death trigger warning I talked about while I was in Ireland, I want to clarify. The majority of animal harm in this book is animal on animal. It's not man on man, it's more like circle of life, nature documentary kind of shit. And I wouldn't call it gratuitous. There's a decent amount of it for sure, but it's not like it ever feels like it's just there as an added shock value kind of a thing. We're in a story about a creature that is half man and half animal, so we're gonna see both sides of that violence, man on man and animal on animal. I would highly recommend that you do not let this factor stop you from picking up the book. I should also talk really quickly about the themes of hunger and passion and how they become one and the same throughout the book. Lust and and bloodlust are inextricable, hunger is everything. The tagline says power is a hungry beast, but hunger is everything. Hunger for blood and hearts, hunger for love and understanding, hunger for sex, hunger for power and freedom. Everything is heightened to this level of passion so that all of the hungers become very intertwined, to the point that the Beast of Gévaudan always has a boner when he kills and eats his victims. Sorry, wait, not a boner. An engorged member. This book has put me in the opposite of a reading slump. In fact, I am book activated for like the first time all year. This is exactly what I needed after 6 weeks of like medically induced no book time. And surprise, surprise, I thought that this was going to be a standalone, but in the very last line of the acknowledgements, Cameron Sullivan says that there are more stories to come from this specific group of characters. And I could have cried reading that line. I want someone to fund him with the big bucks so he can write everything immediately, constantly, forever. And that is what I had to tell you about The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. My baby. And now I am off to start The Fisherman by John Langan because I have Kayla's live show in 4 days and I want to be as mentally and textually prepared as I can because I don't want to make a fool of myself. And yes, if you were wondering, I'm still shitting bricks about being live on the internet, but here it is. We're gonna start it right now.
You don't want me to read the book? Can I read the book? Can I read the book?
So I got through a little bit more than half of the book last night. I got to page 141. So I hadn't even heard of The Fisherman by John Langan until Kayla slid into my DMs about it, but I'm having a really good time so far. You might even say I'm hooked. No pun intended. Pun very much intended. I'm hooked on The Fisherman. I love eldritch horror and cosmic horror. I love literary horror. And I love any book that relates horror or sci-fi or fantasy to nature and reminds me that I'm like a teeny tiny little baby insignificant dot on a planet in a universe that will be here long after I'm gone. Anything that makes me feel small, I'm in. So essentially, this book, or at least part of this book, is about Dan and Abe, both of whom lost their wives tragically, and they start fishing together as a form of like man therapy instead of going to actual therapy. The synopsis says they hear a tale of a figure known as Der Fischer, the fisherman. And that tale is actually what I'm in the middle of right now. This book has a really unique format in that only like the first 45 pages are actually about Dan and Abe, and then they meet this grizzled old man who works at a diner who winds up telling them a story while they're eating breakfast. And that story spans like the entire middle 150 pages. And then I'm assuming that we're gonna get back to Dan and Abe for the last chunk. So I'm in the middle of that story right now. This story that Howard at the diner is telling them. And it's basically the stories and legends that are behind this fishing spot that the two men are planning to go to. And the story is being told by Howard in an effort to get them to not go to this place. He wants to talk them out of going to this one spot called Dutchman's Creek because apparently everyone in the area knows that it's either like haunted or fucked up, or there's just something there that you don't want to run into. But Howard's story is what this reverend told him. So it becomes the reverend's story. But then it turns out the reverend's story is actually a story that this girl named Lottie told him. So technically the story is actually Lottie's, who was a young girl at the time that this story was taking place, like 100 years ago. I think it was around the turn of the century. So now we have like this Matryoshka doll of a story within a story within a story within a story within a story. And I think that's so neat in a cosmic horror specifically, because it goes to show how many different layers and how many different people's stories you need to know to begin to even start to know the unknowable, which is what cosmic horror is all about. The majority of cosmic horror at the base of it is about trying to know the unknowable. The whole book opens with a Moby Dick quote about how the unknowableness of the universe drives men mad. And it talks about the universe as this sick, scary thing, which is perfect for this type of book. And the actual narrated part of the book starts with Abe saying, "Don't call me Abraham, call me Abe," which is both a bastardization of the first line of Moby Dick, where he says, "Call me Ishmael," and a reference to the Bible. Abraham from the Bible, who Ishmael was also from the Bible apparently, but Abraham from the Bible, which is another book that was written by men who were trying to make sense of the unknowable. I just feel at this point like I could dissect this book line by line. I am going to have so many notes to bring to the table for the live show on Saturday, so hopefully I make a good impression. The first chapter of the book is called Men Without Women, and I was wondering if it was going to be like a commentary on, oh, hello? If it was going to be a commentary on gender roles or what. And I think I was a little bit right at this point, but not right in the way that I thought I would be. Okay, stereotypically, women are more comfortable with and have stronger emotional connections with their friends, right, than men do. If a woman were to lose her husband, if he were to pass away before his time, she often winds up relying on the emotional connections with her friends to get her through. Look at any piece of media about a woman who loses her husband. For some reason, the only one that comes to mind for me right now is P.S. I Love You. I know there are plenty of other options out there, but for some reason, P.S. I Love You is taking up all of my brain space. But if this book was about two women without men instead of men without women, the story would be a lot different. I'm generalizing here, obviously, but a woman who loses a man, she would probably lean on her support systems. She would allow her friends to help her. She would go to therapy. In a lot of straight relationships, women are the ones who shoulder the majority of the emotional burden because their husbands often only feel comfortable feeling emotional vulnerability with that one person, his wife. Meanwhile, his wife is spreading her emotional vulnerability across her whole friend group and her sister and her therapist and the random group of girls that she met when she was drunk in the bar bathroom. What I'm trying to say is that women feel more comfortable opening up and being emotionally vulnerable, which is why a story of women without men would be so far removed from this story that is men without women. Men without their women fall apart. Women without their men rely on other women and build themselves back up. And again, this is all a generalization. I know not all men, I know that, but stereotypically this is what happens. Anyway, now that I've told you all about the literal first 1.5 pages, maybe I should talk to you about the rest of the book. Up until like page 70, there wasn't enough abject horror for me, but once we got into it, it turned up, although I still would say it feels more creepy than scary or horrific. It's like this long-lasting feeling of unease in the back of your head instead of just abject horror. There is a crazy scene in which a woman has a vision. I won't say anything too specific about it, but it is a vision of a never-ending ocean filled with horrifying shit. And it's a great scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the book so far. It's a great scene for anyone who doesn't have thalassophobia. I have whatever the opposite of thalassophobia is. I love deep ocean. I love dark ocean. I love seeing videos of people dropping cameras to the bottom. I love deep open ocean. Thalassophilia? Would it be thalassophilia? Whatever it is, I'm that. So I was entranced, and I wish that there were like 10 more pages just about this and that it got even more f***ed up. And there was also a mention of an Ouroboros. So I am wondering if further in the book we are gonna get discussions about cycles and eternity and like birth, death, rebirth and all that good shit, or if that's gonna come into play at all in any capacity. Oh, I don't even know if I've actually said what the middle part is about. The middle part is about these group of families who at the turn of the century, all these families have to move to this one little town in the wilderness because all of the men in the families are going to go to work on this town to help the community build a dam. So they have to flood a town to do it. And before they can flood the town, they have to go burn down all the houses and get everyone out and move all the trees and the rocks and the creatures and everything. That's where we are in the middle of the story, in the middle of the book. And the townspeople encounter this kind of evil situation. And that's the gist of it, but I don't want to tell you anything more than that. So where I stopped reading last night, we have a group of the men from this town who are heading towards a house to try and find and destroy the evil that is living in that house. And when they get to the house, shit is weird around it. It's not a normal house. The forest right outside the house has this water enveloping it that rises up instead of sideways, even though there are no walls to hold it in, and it breaks like every boundary of physics. And then they enter the house, and instead of a normal inside of the house, they go through the door and it's just a forest with like trees that are taller than the ceiling that should have been there and wider than the walls that should have existed. And now I'm gonna go keep reading. Hopefully I'll finish the rest of this because that reminded me of Pure Nessie, and nothing actually reminds me of Pure Nessie. And I am starving for anything at all that reminds me even a little bit of Pure Nessie. And I really don't think that we're gonna get like more Pure Nessie feeling things in there, but even that one little blip was enough to hold me over for now. So I'll see you when I have finished this book. Why are you so small? Oh, hi. Okay, bless you. I am done. Oh, hello? I am done with The Fisherman by John Langan. And that went in a few different directions that I didn't see coming. I am excited. I'm still scared, but I'm excited for this live show because, good Lord, the amount of notes that I took through this book is a little bit concerning. But at least no matter what, I know that I'm showing up. I hopefully won't look stupid. If anything, I'll look over-prepared. But that's fine, right? So in the last half of The Fisherman, what do? We venture a little bit into portal fantasy, which obviously I love. We finish the story within the story, and we do go back to Dan and Abe to finish their arc out. And throughout all of it, we have these constant examples of people trying to come to know the unknowable and basically fucking around and finding out. So many of these characters wind up learning some secret of the universe, whether it's as huge as a leviathan or as small as growing up and out of childhood and into adulthood and figuring out adulthood on your own. And as we go, each one of these people wants to go back to the time when they didn't know about life's great secret, whatever that secret was for them. Each one of them wants to go back inside the allegorical cave and unlearn what they've found out. Imagine if we're gonna go back to Moby Dick, okay? Imagine if Captain Ahab had found his white whale. What would be left for him? Nothing. And in that nothingness, he would have found despair. He would have gone crazy from the nothingness. The thrill is in the journey and the adventure and the unknowing. This little girl from the middle of the story, Lottie, she wound up going through something really traumatic with her parents and her siblings. And at the end, there's this quote from her. It's not the end, it's the end of the middle part of the story from when she's an adult with her own husband and her own children. It's page 192 if you have this. But it says, Lottie will be swept by the certainty that this is the dream. It's all the invention, the yield of an adolescent imagination desperate for experience. If only she could find her way back to the blank space that borders dreaming and remain there long enough to navigate its gray emptiness. Then the next time she opens her eyes, it will be to Clara, her mom, calling her to come downstairs and kiss her father before he's off to the university. She didn't discover huge cosmic secrets of the universe. She just found out what it is to grow up and grow old and move forward in life. And all she wants is to go back in time to before she knew that truth, when she had her childhood and her innocence and everything was simple and nice. Meanwhile, Dan and Abe find out their own truths when they finally get to their fishing spot, and oh my God, I kind of wish that I could go back to before I knew the truth of some of the things that those men did in those last 40 pages. Anyway, that's all I think I can say about the back half of the book. I really don't want to spoil any of the weird shit for you. At the end, what I've landed on is that this would be a 4.25 if I still gave those ratings. I don't do 0.25s and 0.75s anymore because it got way too convoluted. I wanted to simplify it. So I'm hoping that the live show in 3 days now will push me either up to a 4.5 or down to a 4. So Kayla, Gavin, Jordaline, I'm counting on you to push me in one direction or another. I wonder what they thought of the book. What if I'm the only one who liked it? Or what if everyone else loved it and thought it was perfect and I was the only one who found any kind of flaws? By the way, the flaws, the one real flaw, what can I say? Can I say anything about this? There was one part of the magic system in this book that felt cheesy to me. And it felt very out of place for something very much being like a literary horror book. And that's all I can say without, things up for you. But by the time that you watch this, the live show will have already happened. So I'll put the link in the description box below if you want to come watch whatever the I wind up saying. Hopefully I don't sound like a total idiot. That was it. That was The Fisherman. I'll see you at the live show. So I did the live show a few days ago, and like 10 minutes after it ended, I had to drive 3.5 hours to stay with family for the weekend. So I didn't have a spare minute to chill and regroup after that, much less a spare 90 minutes to watch it back and think about how everything went and to remember what the hell I said, because I blacked out for like the first 30 minutes of the live show. I barely remembered anything I said until I watched it back yesterday, and I had so much fun. I genuinely think that I got the best group of people to do a very first live stream with, and I am so grateful to Kayla for inviting me on, and I'm so grateful to Gavin and Jordaline for helping me pop my live show cherry. If you want to watch it back or watch it for the first time or whatever, I am going to put the link in the description box. These are some of the things that people were saying in the comments, so I think that you could have fun watching the live show even if you hated the book or even if you have no intention of ever reading the book. I do in fact believe that I came in a little over-prepared, better than being underprepared, I guess. I again had the very best co-hosts to do this with, and we had a book that was at the very least extremely interesting to talk about. There are a few comments that were left on the video that I want to respond directly to. Well, first of all, there were a few comments that inflated my ego a little bit, but genuinely thank you so much to anyone who wrote in with words of encouragement, because it does help me feel like I could go into another live show with a little bit less stress and a little bit more confidence. So if you took the time to leave a comment, please know that I saw it and I love you, and I'm so grateful that you chose to do that. The next comment I wanted to I do believe that this book hit for me because I have experienced an unfortunate amount of grief. Well, any amount of grief is unfortunate, but I do think that there was a recency bias going on also because I've gone through a grieving process in the last 6 months, so it's still been very fresh in my mind. This person thinks that I am an INFJ. I took the Myers-Briggs test a long ass time ago, so I don't remember my results from it, or at least I don't remember the last 3 letters. So maybe you're right about the last 3 letters, but I know for damn sure that that first letter for me is a capital E extrovert. So maybe I'm an ENFJ? Who knows? But I'm an E for sure. What's next? Oh, this is the best compliment I've ever received. And it's also all that I want to do. If I could host an in-person book club where we just go to a bar and talk about books, my life would be 10 times better. And the last comment, obviously I'm not okay. So I need to end this video here so I can go start filming a Read It or Unhaul It vlog, or continue filming it. I started filming a few days ago and it's gotten off to a really weird start. This video is probably an hour long at this point, and somehow I only read 2 books. And if you want a reminder, I gave The Red Winter 5 stars and The Fisherman 4 stars. The books are downstairs and it's 2 a.m. and I am too tired and too lazy to go actually get them. So here they are. Thank you again for joining me for everything that's happened over the last few weeks. Every single one of you means the entire world to me. And if you can hear me, you can read the subtitles. I hope you're having an amazing weekend. I hope you're having an amazing April. I hope we're all happy and healthy. I love you. Bye. Travel. Travel time. Oh no. Okay. Wow. Me. I got, what is it called? I got
Look at me like that.
So this is where I'm pausing, but I'm staying very still so I can think about what the second half of my sentence is. What was the first half of my sentence? What did I say? Oh no.
From the top.
Oh, Jesus. No, I got this. It just takes a second. So.
I need a longer video.
This is exactly what I needed after 6 years. 6 years? Years? What? has some really fun things to say about religion. It may or may not present God as a kind of eldritch horror that eats our souls. Actually, I'm gonna redact that.